this decision choosing Tim Walz, she has proven just how dangerously liberal she is. Tim Walz is one of the most far-left governors in America. Much like Kamala Harris, he supports wide-open borders. He supports sanctuary cities. In Minnesota, he signed a bill giving licenses to illegal immigrants. Tim Walz, like Kamala Harris, is soft on crime. He also supports the defund the police movement. In fact, in Minnesota, violent crime has increased by 21% since he has been governor. And like Kamala Harris, Tim Walz is anti-American energy. He signed a bill to ban carbon-based fuels in Minnesota by 2040. That is a threat to our national security. That is a gift to China. If Americans want to know what a Harris-Walz America would look like, look at the streets of Minneapolis in the summer of 2020 when they were literally burned to the ground. Look at the streets of San Francisco. Their liberal utopia is every American's worst nightmare, and we'll spend the next 92 days ensuring every American knows how radical the Harris-Walz ticket is.
Well, like they say, the coconut has fallen out the coconut tree. The coconut has fallen out the coconut tree. You go woke, you go broke. Well, like I said, y'all, it's a lot of big things that's finna happen. I told you, man, and it's happening quick, man. We are in August. We're only 6 days in. 6 days in. You know, things crashing, falling down, burning. People have more hatred than ever. The market's crashing. Boy, we are in big trouble, man. We are in big trouble. It's here. Well, let's go and get into it, man. Let's go and get into it. I want to see my brother Greg. A couple of y'all sent this to me in my email about an hour ago. Greg dropped a good video. So I'm going to see what he's talking about in this one, man. What do y'all think of this? Oh, man. I should have filled my cup up with some moonshine this morning. I didn't get that moonshine in me this morning. Cheers to them beautiful patriots, my brothers and sisters around the world, man. Let's go and jump in. If you're new here, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We keep it real. We don't sugarcoat it, man. We are in big trouble. Millions and millions of people struggling, dying right now, are already have passed away. You know, people trying to survive in America, man. It's getting worse. You know, it's sad the times that we're living in, man. A complete disgrace, as you can see. Everything that's taking place, man. Failed policies. You know, the policies that just put America last, man. Just being honest with you, these last 3.5, 4 years have been dog. You know, but hey, everything's fine. Everything's good. Hey, we have the best economy. We have everything's amazing. You know, the border isn't open. What are you talking about? What are y'all talking about? Oh, when you go to the gas station, it's just fine. Just put your card in there. What do you mean prices in the store went up? What are y'all talking about? That's false. That is stop misleading people. People are not struggling. And then we continue to wipe Trump through the mud. Just wipe Trump through the mud, lie on the man, say this and that. He's going to do this and that. Dictator, he's racist. Yeah. Can't make this stuff up, man. The shit show continues. The circus continues. Pull the puppet strings. Can't make this up, man. But I love you guys. I don't care what side you're on. You know, if you're blue, red, Democrat, Republican, whatever side, if you're independent, I got love for everybody, man. I'm wishing the best in everybody's life. One love to the human race, man. One love to the human race. We live in a very, very fast time travel is what most people forget to understand. And I'm just wishing the best in everybody's life through this fast time travel that we're living in. The biggest history yet, we are living in it. And they're going to come back and say, what the was going on in around these times? What was going on in 2024?
Yeah. And as a woman.
Hold on. You got to hear.
You know, we have to stay woke.
Everything woke has turned to.
Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than.
They look very uncomfortable. Did y'all notice that? This is a trending clip right now. And everybody's saying Trump just needs to play this for the next 91 days. And he most likely will win. Yeah. This lady here gave her like a face like, I don't think we should be woke.
But less woke. Yeah. And as a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch. Turn that off.
This is bad, man. This is bad.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got some great news, guys. It seems as if Kamala Harris has decided to pick a far left, radical, pro-BLM riot socialist to be her vice president.
But we can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
What could be weirder than signing a bill into law that requires schools to stock tampons in boys' bathrooms? Or weirder than signing legislation allowing minors to receive sex change operations? Try electing the man who signed those bills Vice President of the United States. Enter Chief Weirdo Tim Walz. As governor of Minnesota, Walz supported legislation that endangers minors, hurts women, and puts radical ideology ahead of common sense. Now Kamala wants Walz to enforce those laws on a national scale. Tim Walz, too weird, too radical.
Okay, she basically was choosing between Tim Walz of Minnesota, the governor of Minnesota, and Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. She decided that she didn't want to go with Josh Shapiro, presumably because he is Jewish, okay? And she did not want to upset the radical far left, who apparently doesn't really like Jews very much, okay? So she was like, you know what? I'm not going to go with the guy who's a moderate, who's probably going to help me win Pennsylvania, probably is going to help me win the Rust Belt.
And huge shout out to my brother Greg, man. Link will be in the description box down below. Make sure y'all go show my brother some love, man. Again, everybody that is a part of this family on this channel most likely knows Greg, an amazing guy, man. But yeah, let me just shut up. But boy, but hey, I did see that everybody they were you know how they show the terrible and then they throw in the good. Of him signing the what's it called for Minnesota to get free lunch and breakfast for the students. Yeah. Free breakfast and free lunch. Yeah. You know? Well, you know what comes with good comes with a whole lot of bad. Radical far left. Boy. Take your tampon out, throw it in the middle of the street, huh? Boy, what is going on?
We'll go with another guy from the Rust Belt, Tim Walz, okay, who's a radical socialist, okay? That is essentially what Kamala Harris has chosen to do. So without further ado, I want to react to this news clip, and then we're going to get into some of these guys' radical policy positions so that everybody knows exactly who Kamala Harris just chose and what this could mean for the race. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Thank you, guys. Good morning, everybody. Big morning in news, 9 o'clock here in New York. According to the Associated Press minutes ago, the AP says that Kamala Harris has made her choice for the undercard, and she has selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, age 60, to be the vice president nominee. That news just breaking right now. Welcome to our coverage. You got a big couple of hours coming up here. You got this news breaking on the campaign. You got major news overseas. So welcome. I'm Bill Hemmer, live in New York. Dana's got the week off today, and welcome back to Jillian.
Thanks for having me. I'm Jillian Turner in for Dana. So Walz believed by the campaign to boost the vice president's profile and chances of winning, securing parts of the Midwest. Chosen over and above the other frontrunner, Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania. Let's go ahead and toss to Brian Yanis. He is live on the ground awaiting the arrival of the vice president and her running mate. They are going to be there later this afternoon. What can you tell us so far, Brian?
Jillian and Bill, that's right. Well, the first rally that Vice President Kamala Harris will have with her now running mate, Tim Walz, is going to happen here in Philadelphia. It happens at 5 p.m. tonight. It'll be their first joint rally. And interestingly, the governor of Minnesota, Walz, will be sharing that stage with Harris, as well as, from our understanding, Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro, who was also one of the top two finalists for this job. So you're going to have a situation here tonight where they'll not only have their first rally together, but a chance for the party as well to at least show that they are unified, given what has been an interesting 15, 16-day speed through here in trying to pick a vice president. Walz is from Minnesota. He has an appeal, especially to Western Wisconsin. He's a former high school teacher. He was in the National Guard. He is somebody who is known for being plain spoken. He has experience in Congress, serving as 6 terms in the House of Representatives and 2 terms in Minnesota. An interesting thing here, obviously, is that this was a pick that was being pushed by progressives, including Senator Bernie Sanders, as well as the United Auto Workers Union, who all endorsed Walz as the pick over Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Interesting pitfall here, though, could be the fact that he was governor of Minnesota during the George Floyd riots. He was really attacked by Republicans, and he even said himself that he could have done a better job during that situation, including calling in the National Guard sooner and calling in more National Guard troops as the cities were lit on fire during those riots. So that'll be something.
Yeah, so he definitely dropped the ball during that situation. This is something that Trump has already attacked him for. But yeah, this guy basically went MIA. He went MIA during a time in which a major city in his state was burning down.
Yeah, and I woke up this morning, y'all, and I went down my timeline, and they were tagging me and all kind of stuff. And then I look on my For You page. They just got pictures of everything just set on fire. I mean, you just can't make this up, man. And I'm just looking, I'm scrolling, because I didn't even know when I woke up, I didn't even know the news had broke yet. And I'm scrolling, and I'm just seeing stuff on fire. Yeah, and I'm like, okay. And then it says Tim. I said, oh, boy. Yeah. So that's how my morning went, y'all.
Tells you everything you need to know about how this guy reacts under pressure. He hides.
Flashback. And I want to also add, I've been texting with our news director while we've been on the air saying, I know you have a request into the governor, anything. And they are refusing to make any kind of statement right now. Listen, we know they're busy. But I can't think of anything more important right now than explaining to us why we are allowing this to happen again.
And once again, we are asking the governor, we're asking Mayor Fry, what is the plan here? You said there was a plan yesterday. You said there was a plan for today. And in both instances, we haven't seen.
And tonight, it seems even more inexcusable. You can understand how last night maybe got away from them. They didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, they gave up the 3rd precinct last night.
And to tonight not be able to respond to this, it doesn't make sense. I wish someone would explain to us the thinking behind this. Surely they're having these conversations about what we are going to do if and when. What was the conversation around this? If this started happening again in the 3rd precinct or in a different precinct, was this the plan? This was the plan? To let it all happen again in a different precinct? And if that was the plan, why? I mean, there must be a reason that you would say, we're going to allow this to happen. So please, Governor Walz, Mayor Fry explain to us what the...
And when Tim Walz did come out and speak about the BLM riots destroying his city as he was cowering in a bunker, right? He said that, well, we just need more diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's the problem, right? That's the issue, according to this guy.
A society that does not put equity and inclusion at the center of it is certainly going to eventually come to the places where we're at. This is a moment of inflection. It's a moment of real change. It's a moment that those folks who are out there demanding this are not going to take a commission or a report. They're going to want fundamental change. And that is what I think that's one of the exciting things in the midst of all this. You can feel a sense of optimism coming back.
Every voter in Minnesota needs to know that when the violent mobs of anarchists and looters and Marxists came to burn down Minneapolis 4 years ago, remember me? I couldn't get your governor to act. He's supposed to call in the National Guard or the Army, and he didn't do it. I couldn't get your governor. So I sent in the National Guard to save Minneapolis while Kamala Harris sided with the arsonists and rioters and raised money to bail out the criminals, bail them all out of jail.
Do y'all know Trump just tweeted or just posted on True Social, and it's trending right now as well? Thank you. That's how he responded to our her choosing her running mate, choosing Tim. Thank you. Bro, you gotta love the guy, man. That's how Trump responded. Thank you.
Woo! Yeah. Remember?
Yeah, so not only is this guy Charmin ultra soft when it comes to domestic violence and extremism coming from the left, this guy is also super soft on the borders. He's basically pro-open borders, just like Kamala Harris. And he's so pro-illegal immigrant that he decided that, hey, it is a good idea to give driver's licenses to illegal immigrants as well, too. Because, hey, the illegal immigrants are the ones responsible for your Thanksgiving turkey, okay? He loves that slave labor from illegals.
Democrats need to do is acknowledge, and he has ginned up fear, but our border can work better. There's no reason someone seeking asylum, which we will always be a guiding light for, shouldn't have to wait 7 years to have that adjudicated. That's why this bill would have made it 90 days and people either got it or they were removed. And I think seeing a plan that's out there, talking about it with folks, knowing that he's not going to do anything. He talks about this wall. I always say, let me know how high it is. If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in the 30-foot ladder factory. That's not how you stop this. You stop this using electronics. You stop it using more border control agents. And you stop it by having a legal system that allows for that tradition of allowing folks to come here, just like my relatives did, to come here, be able to work and establish the American dream. He's not interested in that. He wants to demonize. Look, we produce most of the turkeys that you're going to eat in Thanksgiving. Those are immigrants working hard, establishing themselves here. What's he going to do? Is he going to take them all out?
Should Minnesota be a sanctuary state?
If the definition of that is that the federal government enforces immigration law and local law enforcement enforces local law, then yes.
Should cities be allowed to be sanctuary cities?
Yes, local control.
It's done.
A packed room at the St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
Yeah, so it doesn't stop there. This guy is also an extremist when it comes to gender ideology, okay? This guy made Minnesota a sanctuary city state for children to have sex change operations, and he is proud of it.
And what we want to say is we're there to protect children. We're there to have you understand that in Minnesota you're going to be protected. And I just want to be clear. I will never understand what goes into the thinking of these folks to bully these children. That is not impacting them in one bit and making it a living hell for children, for families, for adults, for folks who are just trying to bring themselves in. So in Minnesota, we're making it very clear we're not going to cooperate with these folks. We're not going to extradite people. We're going to say that this is a place where you can come to make these decisions. The community, the trans community is as terrified as they've ever been. We've seen attacks across the nation, even here in Minnesota, and we're now saying we have to be much more proactive. We have to be much more aggressive about making sure that folks are protected. So this is another of the fronts that, again, don't deal with climate change. Don't deal with other things. Deal with making people's lives miserable on something that won't impact you. That's what these governors are doing, these attorney generals are doing. And I've had it. As a teacher, I will not stand bullies. I never did. And I'm not going to stand bullies who are masquerading as somehow about freedom. This has nothing to do with personal freedoms. It has everything to do with forcing an ideology on a vulnerable group of people for short-term political gain. It won't stand. And in the long runs, Americans are far better than that. And they're going to find that out.
Also standing in that sea of people, a parent, transparent about his family.
My partner Gretchen and I are here today because we are parents of a trans child.
Their child is 6 years old, and she was as excited to be at a boring capital on spring break as any 6-year-old kid could be. Squirming and fidgeting her way through speeches, hardly aware her existence as why her parents drove 5 hours today to speak publicly.
It's 100% personal. I mean, the safety, the happiness of our child is it couldn't be more personal.
Asher, why are we here today?
For trans rights.
For her rights to be her.
As you can see from this interview,
he is also a lockdown extremist, and during the COVID pandemic, he not only pushed draconian lockdown procedures, forcing people into their homes, he also set up a snitch line, right? So that you get tattletale on your neighbors who decide that they want to get out of their house and to get some vitamin D during the COVID pandemic.
I've just signed Executive Order 20-01, declaring a peacetime state of emergency for the state of Minnesota. We need to stop congregating. We're going to close the bars. We're going to close the restaurants. We're going to close the places where we gather. Several 100,000 of your neighbors were just laid off. An entire industry has been shut down in the face of this, all for the greater good.
The governor, with the power of the state constitution behind him, has issued 104 executive orders affecting everything from schools to restaurants and bars to churches, to basically every facet of everyday life.
Democrats who control the House are moving in the opposite direction. Some are pushing to put a mask mandate in state law.
Hi-ho, the Dario, I wear a mask to school. It helps to keep me safe.
Hello, you have reached the Department of Public Safety stay-at-home hotline. The information you leave is considered public information. At the tone, please leave the following information: your name, your callback number, how the stay-at-home order is being violated, and where the stay-at-home order was violated. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Yeah, so again, that's how extreme this guy is, okay? He set up a tattletale snitch hotline during the pandemic, guys. This dude is Big Brother. That's exactly who he is. Okay, this guy is a big government, far left lunatic. He is just as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs as Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris doubled down on the insanity, guys. This is the most far left ticket that we've ever seen. There's no way. There's absolutely no way we can allow these people to win. They cannot win. Again, the far left extremism that's happening in this country is the reason why this country is in the situation that it's in. Okay? And if the American people come out and vote for more far left extremism, if this is what they want in November, this country is done. It is done. I'm telling you. Okay? So again, this quite literally is the most important election of our lifetimes, because Kamala Harris has decided that Democrats, they're just going to take the mask off. They've gone full socialist, okay? Full socialist.
Something to look into, but more interesting, not only in that the fact that Tim Walz is somebody that kind of emerged as a dark horse. He was somebody that started making the rounds late in this game. He's the one that coined the attacks against former President Trump, calling him weird. And now a lot of attention is going to be on the fact that Harris decided not to go with Pennsylvania's governor, Josh Shapiro. He was the front runner here, and now he obviously is not being chosen. He was seen as somebody who could really bring in a lot of moderate voters. He could deliver the must-win state of Pennsylvania, having won it as governor in 2022 by 15 points. But there were some pitfalls. Progressives really pushing back against Shapiro, particularly his stance on school vouchers, his stance, a sexual harassment case against one of his top aides in his office, and of course his stance on Israel. Progressives were attacking him for being too pro-Israel, despite the fact that his stance was very much in the mainstream with the party, and that caused a lot of Democrats to come out in his defense, saying that it was anti-Semitism that was driving that. So you're going to hear a lot about that in the coming hours and days, why she did not decide to choose Shapiro. In fact, J.D. Vance, guys, this morning on Hugh Hewitt's show said that if Harris did not choose Shapiro, it would be very much because of anti-Semitism in parts of their party. Guys?
Yeah, I think to be quite honest with you, if Josh Shapiro wasn't Jewish, he would have been the pick. 100% he would have been the pick. He would have been the best pick because he would have delivered Pennsylvania.
And we said that last week,
in my opinion. And he probably would have delivered some of the other Rust Belt states as well, too. Again, I think that it's just kind of hilarious to think about how the far left made it basically impossible for Kamala Harris to pick the candidate that, again, otherwise, if he wasn't Jewish, he would have the best chance of helping her win. So now she decided to go with a far left socialist who, in my opinion, is probably one of the worst picks she can make, because I'm not entirely sure how this guy helps out with moderates. Now, I do understand that in the Midwest, these states are kind of weird in the sense that they're very pro-union, okay? And states like Minnesota have been Democrat Party strongholds for a while. So there are those working class, white, Democrat liberals out there, and they seem to be kind of, very prevalent in these Rust Belt states. So I understand why she picked them, okay? Because that's essentially going to decide the race, right? I mean, the Rust Belt states are must-win states for Republicans and Democrats. Kamala probably believes that her skin color and her sex is enough to maybe flip Arizona back in her favor, maybe to win Georgia. And Tim Walz can help her maintain Minnesota, which really wasn't in play. It was kind of in play, but it wasn't in play, right? Now it is probably going to be a solidly blue state. Maybe she might pick up a couple of Rust Belt states, Michigan, Wisconsin, or Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan. I think that's what she's thinking, okay? And, we'll see. But all I know is that this, honestly, is kind of a sigh of relief, okay? That we have a radical socialist. We have two radical socialists at the top of the Democrat Party ticket, which means that they're going all in on the far left, right? They're going all in on trying to get their far left base out to vote. And because of that, that means that they're probably going to be alienating moderates, right? They're going to alienate moderates. And that is where Republicans and Trump need to come in and say, all right, how do we get these moderates? Okay, how do we get these moderates? Because, again, these people are focused on appeasing the far left. We got to get these moderates on board. And I think that that's the path to victory. And it has become a lot more clear now since Kamala Harris has essentially chosen to abandon moderate voters and to just go all in on the far left base. So, hey, let me know what
man, there it is, y'all. Wow. And huge shout out to my brother Greg, man. What an amazing put together, amazing take. But boy. The coconut has fallen out the coconut tree once again. Man. Everything woke turns to simple as that, man. Simple as that. And again, this election is just going to come down to common sense, man. Common sense. Yeah, we have everything in front of us now. It all comes down to common sense now. But hey, let me know what y'all think, man. I love you guys. I'm wishing the best in everybody's life, man. No matter what side you're on. No matter where you stand. One love to the human race, man. This thing's finna get real interesting. Especially tonight. So, y'all make sure y'all tune in. We're gonna put together an amazing video of what takes place tonight. Oh, boy. But hey, I love y'all. And I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace and love, family.